Hello, everyone. I'm Sign1News anchor Vanessa Paloma Bajarnik with a quick look at the top trending international news stories in ISL. If you post an interesting comment about this update, we may add it at the bottom of the screen. Massive protests in France have been going on for nearly 2 weeks. Hundreds of armored police fill the streets of Paris as protesters threw smoke bombs and paint at them. At one point, a cafe caught fire, but the flames were quickly extinguished. Union members also stormed American investment company BlackRock's offices. And exterminators from the city dumped dead rats in front of Paris City Hall. The protests are over new plans for the French government to raise the age of retirement to 64 from 62. The plan was pushed through Parliament without a vote. France's Constitutional Court is reviewing the legality of that and is expected to announce a decision next Friday. Protesters have scheduled their next demonstration for the day before that. According to an official in Brazil, 4 children were killed when a 25-year-old man jumped over a wall at a daycare and attacked children on the playground with an axe. The victims were between the ages of 5 and 7. 4 other children were injured. Officials say the man ran away when teachers tried to fight him off to protect the children. But then he later turned himself in to police. Investigators say the man does not seem to have a connection to the daycare, and right now they're searching for a motive for the attack. Mexico's president, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, also known as AMLO, wrote a letter to China's president this week, asking for help controlling fentanyl shipments from China to Mexico. He said sources told him that fentanyl is being produced in Asia and sold for export to Canada, the U.S., and Mexico. He also said some U.S. lawmakers are blaming Mexico for their own problems. But he denied that Mexico is producing fentanyl and defended his country's efforts to address the issue. The Chinese embassy in Mexico did not comment on the letter. China is warning the U.S. not to provoke it over Taiwan. The warning came a day after the Taiwanese president met with U.S. lawmakers. Now China is flexing its own diplomatic muscles. China is hosting the French president and the head of the European Commission, while the former Taiwanese president tours the country. China is also warning the U.S. that supporting Taiwanese independence could be a, quote, red line. But both U.S. and Taiwanese officials say independence wasn't the reason for their meeting. Bipartisan members of the U.S. Congress are using the visit to show support for the island. We want to warn you, some of the images in this story are graphic and may be disturbing to some viewers. Thousands of people have been wounded in Russia's invasion of Ukraine from blast injuries. Now, highly specialized plastic surgeons from the US and Canada are trying to make soldiers and civilians whole again through a program called Face the Future. Doctors say the blast injuries are often devastating, with multi-level bone and soft tissue injuries. Many times, there are multiple surgeries. But they're not just addressing the physical injuries. Doctors are also doing what they can to help their patients and their families deal with the psychological injuries as well. Some soldiers say they feel guilty that they survived, while other soldiers did not. President Biden is visiting the United Kingdom next week, and he has accepted an invitation to meet with King Charles III for an official state visit. The White House reported that President Biden called the king to congratulate him on his coronation. And that's when the king offered a state visit invitation. They had what was described as a very friendly call discussing common interests such as climate change. Biden will be unable to attend the king's coronation in May. And since Biden will not be attending next month's coronation of King Charles III, his wife, First Lady Jill Biden, will take his place. In fact, no previous U.S. president has ever attended a British monarch's coronation. The last coronation ceremony took place nearly 70 years ago. King Charles's mother, Queen Elizabeth II, was crowned in June 1953. Both President Biden and First Lady Biden traveled to London in September to attend her funeral. King Charles III will officially be crowned on May 6th. Sign1News will be broadcasting international news updates every Sunday. A big thank you to our Sign1News app supporters. You help make this broadcast happen. You can download the Sign1News app by heading to the App Store or Google Play Store on your smartphone. And you can also watch on Apple TV, Amazon, and Roku.